Tony DeFrank, I'm back. This is going to be our July 2023 edition of Covering Classic Cars. Now, it's my first time sitting down with a good friend, Steve Strope from Pure Vision Design. But just a heads up, our friends today from Penta Motorsports are helping us out. This is an active shop. They do a lot of engineering here. So we're going to see some background noise because I think we've already inconvenienced them enough today. Yeah. So they still got to do some work. So there might be there's some grinding and blasting going on. But again, long-time customer, participant in photo shoots, Steve Strope.
Sure.
So Steve, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you for the opportunity.
Always, and we'll try to keep this quick and easy, but Steve and I, I guess, through California Car Cover, we've probably been friends and colleagues. I'm thinking like 14, 15 years.
At least.
And when we go to lunch regularly, his shop's also in Simi Valley. Yeah. So we could talk on and on about all kinds of things. So
yeah, that's true.
We'll try to keep it concise, but
sure.
Enough about me. Let's, your Chevelle, this debuted at SEMA at the end of 22. Yeah. Just tell us about the project and then I'll let you I'll sit back.
Sure. So this is a lovely little 67 Chevelle that is on its second owner. Basically there was an interstitial, but I don't think they drove it at all. Somebody passed away, got handed to somebody close. They didn't know what to do with it, and then our owner said, hey, I'll buy it. And it is arguably one of the cleanest cars we ever started with. Just clean Malibu. And my goal was to keep it Malibu. For those of you who have seen it in different, like it just came out in Hemmings Muscle Machines on the cover. Thank you, Terry. And it will be out in a couple of other books coming up. It'll be in Chevy Hub, Wheel Hub's beautiful quarterly book. Oh, yeah. And it also will be in one of the Chevy book from In the Garage Media. All Chevy? Sorry, just drop that one. But
this will be out in July, so there's a little bit of time before
it
hits our audience. But.
So when you're walking around the car, you get used to it. It's still got the Malibu emblems. It doesn't have a blacked out tail panel. We didn't try to do a fake SS. We kept it proudly a Malibu. Even down to the aluminum trim that's 3/4 down the side of the car that everybody gets rid of. I actually liked it on the car. The car originally was a turquoise on turquoise interior car, and so I stepped that up a little bit with a bunch of white in the inside that we designed with Eric Brockmeyer, and then Gabe's did their usual unbelievable work on the inside, and of course the outside is the amazing paint work of Mick Jenkins at Mix Paint. But you know what? The car, because we've done more radical cars than this one.
That's what I was going to say. Like, in our customers, like on our catalog, I think your bills we've shot. I think we met probably with the GTB years ago.
Yeah, the 500, the right-hand drive car with the air jack system in the car.
So your team can go over the top, and then we shot the Martini Mustang.
Oh yeah,
and the Fairlane. So your shop's done some
very wild
one-of-one muscle cars, unbelievable builds. Sure. But I think. Like your builds,
really good formula.
Yeah, formula, and I think I said it's like a sleeper, but you have these cars that are subtle. They have like this, they're like go from 20 feet away. You're like, that's a real nice Chevelle, but then you get up close, and then you see what you and the guys at Pure Vision really do. You go, oh, look at that. Wait a second, that's not. Okay, that's a unique. Stock. That's not stock. That's not tradition.
Right.
And I guess the upholstery, but we'll get to with what Gabe did, but. The number one thing that caught everyone's eye was when you pop the hood at SEMA.
And so that's why we're here.
And that's why we're here, yeah.
Penta built the motor for me, so that's a 511-inch big block Chevy with Weber carburetors. It's not EFI, it's good old carbureted, and it runs amazing. And I know you doubters and haters out there. Let me tell you something I learned. I got educated while he built this motor because I had those same concerns. Here's the deal with Webers. They want a cam that's very specific, not a lot of overlap. So in other words, you need to engineer the motor to work with Webers, and then the Webers provide instant throttle response. That's why they were used in racing back in the day. Out of the corner, massive acceleration instantly. So the point is if you tried putting on that Weber intake on a big cammed motor, it would run horribly.
It'd just be a pig. It wouldn't react to that.
Just like the cross rams from the DZ motors and the Camaros. Unless the motor's set up properly for it, it'll run horribly. And Webers, I owned Webers and Deal Ordos on my Carmen Gias. And if you don't know how to adjust them and set them up, they're miserable. So unfortunately for the product, it got a bad name because people didn't know what they were doing and how to set up the motor correctly, let alone how to adjust them correctly. Believe me, when it's built by a gentleman who knows all that stuff, that thing just rolling, you lean into it and it'll annihilate the rear tires. It has instant throttle response. And you got big old cubes.
Yeah, I say it looks good in there.
We got pistons the size of coffee cans, you know, hey.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here at Penta. They had built the motor for us. So, but besides that, it's still a big block, stick, you know, American powertrain. We got a Tremec 5-speed in it. I've got Detroit speed suspension on it with great JRI coilovers, Willwood brakes, vintage air, Dynamat sound deadening. All of this is completely obtainable.
Yeah.
Right?
Everything that anyone that wants to build a pretty awesome muscle car, that's at their disposal.
Yeah,
that's disposal. Yeah.
There's no crazy. Well, you got to do all this fab to install that. You got to do all this stuff. Nope. Great product out of the box. So the color choices. And of course, the people I've surrounded myself with, like Mick and Gabe's and Steve at Penta, raise the bar. But good color choice. How can you go wrong with 5-spoke ET3s, polished, you know?
Yeah.
Very, it's not tub, very realistic. 275s in the rear, 225s in the front. Drive down the road all day long car, you know? So again, raised to a certain level and some neat. So we did a couple of neat things here and there. But at first blush, this could be parking lot, cars and coffee, anywhere.
The driver looks good, and that's about it. Sure. Everything you build is a driver, and even how wild it gets.
A whole bunch of people to it at SEMA and at the Grand Nat. The colors really draw people in. They're like, wow, I could do something like that. Now we pop the hood, and that's obviously a little extra special. But you could do a dual quad big block. You could still put it's an over-the-counter stroker kit to do the 511.
Yeah. And the motor, it's in there. It's a little cozy, but it's in there. And
it came with 96s, so you know.
But it looks good.
And it's simplicity, the billet specialty, true track on the motor, one belt. You know, great maintenance and keep things simple, and a good. Who did that for me? Oh my gosh, my brain is fading. Ron Davis radiator. They come complete with the 2 fans on a shroud.
Ready to go.
Great car. It's just execution, taking the time, and again, I'm very fortunate to have a team that I've surrounded myself with, very talented people. But there's no magic parts on this. This doesn't have hand fabricated everything. Yeah, it's just a good, straightforward Chevelle with a big block and a stick. It really is.
Yeah, and it shows what you can do with, you know, you start with a good car, and then you have a great team, and then it comes together. And I guess, you know, touched on the motor. And the other thing I think that was grabbing everyone's attention was the 2-tone white, and then I guess turquoise inserts. I guess. Turquoise. Yeah, and so talk about what Gabe did, and also then let's talk about the dash, because it has the digital gauges in there, but it looks, when the car's not on, it just looks like an original dash. But
just unbelievably cool gauges from Dakota Digital. Don't care what you own, Corvette, Chevelle, Mustang, Charger. They've got a series, I think it's the RTX series, that looks stone stock, but it glows like a brand new Lexus. Just beautiful. And you can select color. And of course, I selected one that goes with the interior. And so I sat down with one of the artists I utilized named Eric Brockmeyer, and we wanted to change the interior. I wanted a lot of white. I wanted to keep the turquoise carpet and the dash, and then bring in this white with the turquoise piping, very 60s. But I wanted like a printed cloth material, and I found that in a roll. I was told it was like the last roll they had. It's for a Dodge Polara, early 60s Dodge Polara, is that funky seat insert.
But it works.
But it works perfectly. Great. And of course, me working with Eric, we came up with something we really love for the design. Let's email the design over to Gabe's, and then they follow it perfectly to the drawing, and that's what you get.
Well, it's, the execution now. I think every build I've seen from your shop, the execution's on point, and we're just honored that we could have it on the feature on the cover. It's been a couple years, but I'm glad we could do this. Yeah. And you've never participated in our interview, but I knew you and I sit down, it's like we're
first for everything.
yeah, but it's like just you and I grabbing lunch again. So I appreciate that, and I guess
Well, we got to plug California Car Cover because there's nobody else that covers my cars. Every single car we build, he nicely. Now, I got a question for you that we can do on the camera.
Oh boy! All right, now the pressure's on it. I'm the interview,
okay.
not E, but all right.
So you print my logo on the cover. You can have. Is that silk screened? Is that?
It's silk screen or heat.
It's
It's silk screen, or you can, if you wanted more colors or as like a heat transfer. I prefer. I think the silk screen looks better on the cars. I think there's no outline. It just looks cleaner.
So this is it's an upcharge, of course, but this is an option for the guy at home that's got his really cool 32 Ford or his super bitchin' 59 CAD. He could have something put on there if he wanted to.
If you want to, there's like a setup fee, like a one-time fee to make a silk screen,
Right,
and then after that, if you wanted to do that, so it's usually our car builders, a niche,
and I do it on
niche,
every one.
niche car dealerships, but usually our builders, like especially our kind of SEMA partners, they like to have that extra branding on there.
Sure.
But otherwise, if you're ordering one cover, sometimes the cost isn't worth it to make the screen.
Right.
But if you want all your covers to match, we can definitely do that.
And I do it on every one because it's great when I have a car covered and I'm going to be unveiling when the press shows up. I've got our company logo on it, and of course we're representing Cal Car Covered. They have their logo down near the front in the grill area, so that's a real fantastic thing. And on top of it, they obviously have a bottomless line of car care products. So you can be all set for that, whether you're just detailing it at home, whether you're at the show, whether you're unveiling a car, having the stuff. You don't need to have a boatload of it. You get the duster, you gotta have the duster, You have the cover and the duster, you're pretty
good,
set, right?
until you're going for SEMA judging, then you might need a little more TLC, but it'll cover you. It'll cover your cars and coffee trip.
But that kind of stuff works really, really great. I have it. It's every one of my customers has it, and it's so simple. You just order up because how many patterns do you got? 10,000, 100,000?
Well, with all the fabrics, it probably gets into the millions. But the
millions of patterns.
Well, because if you think like
they have patterns for boats and planes, right?
And we need a little help. We usually help them. They have to fill out.
I don't know.
No, they have to. Yeah, don't. Now I'm gonna start getting asked. I got to cover a plane. No, I'm gonna get some. You have to fill out some forms, and we can help people with one-off projects. That we could do. We could do one-offs. We've done some unique stuff for customers.
Right.
But
for your car, your truck,
I'd say
whatever.
There might be 30,000, 40,000 patterns, but you multiply that times the 12 different materials. It's a part number change every time.
And I found that handy too because my customers do different things, store their cars differently, and as you know, and I'm sure the people who are interested in your products, there's outdoor covers, indoor outdoor covers.
Yeah.
So you can choose the material for what the cover is going to be putting up with. It's going to be sitting outside, or if it's going to be in a climate-controlled room.
Yeah.
There's some guys like we get the extra thick ones because they got cars parking near each other and you kind of help protect against a door accidentally touching or something like that. So there's a whole lot of options which you can go onto their site and
we got it all covered.
Crazy.
And then whenever Steve retires from Pure Vision, I can
come over and
come on forward. We're gonna get you we're gonna get you an embroidered shirt so you can help give the pitch. We appreciate it. So we mentioned debuting cars at SEMA. So is there anything that you can look? This is going to be out in July. Like, what are you working on for SEMA? If that's allowed to be discussed yet?
It is allowed to be discussed, and on our Instagram, it's Pure Vision Design. There is a 70 Plymouth Roadrunner called Haraka that will, if it's at SEMA this year, it will be as a roller, bare metal drivetrain in it. Extremely cool suspension that we did with Heights. Going to be out the following year, 2024 then. Will be unveiled, and it's going to be a humdinger.
That's going to be
That's our Halo car, yeah.
Your Martini GTB of that build.
Yes, it is of that level without question. So that's coming out. We have a lovely '64 Plymouth Fury, red on red and white. It's an original 426 wedge car, 4-speed car. We mini tubbed.
You do love the tub, if you.
I like big old tires.
You like the big tires,
right?
Yeah.
So you'll be seeing that upcoming in some issues. I know Hemmings Muscle Machines is going to be featuring that car. Great car, real straightforward car. Looks great. Drive around. In fact, the owner of the Martini Mustang owns it, and had this car, and we color corrected it. and it's got a restored like red and white interior. It's red on red and white. So, red Steelies, widened the rear Steelies, and really straightforward. Single 4-barrel on the 426 wedge, and just a great car to go zoom around in, right? Got good attitude, plenty of power, but it's not esoteric.
Yeah.
So you'll see that one coming up. And out in the books coming soon, you'll see this upcoming. And then that cool little Plymouth Scamp we built, Bob Flooring. That's going to be coming out very soon in Hot Rod, and then in Hemmings. Got a whole lot coming out.
There's a lot. So just, so if you get all your subscriptions,
oh my gosh,
if you get them, you're going to see a lot from Pure Vision and Steve.
A lot from Pure Vision. You're going to be sick of it.
Well, then I have to, like, that's the one thing, we'll kind of talk a little bit about on the weekends. So when you're not building muscle cars, you're not working on your BMX bikes. And then the BMX, that's a whole nother subculture.
Story, yeah.
Like you're playing in your bands.
Yeah. I used to tour and travel and play professionally, and I'm very fortunate. Got back together with a bunch of people who also were ex-touring professionals, and we have a band out here in Southern California called Through the Years. And we go do like a 2-hour show that's multimedia. We have big screens on stage that are playing or showing images of pop culture from the year of the song we're playing. So if we're playing Let's Go by the Cars, that came out in 1979. So on the screen is from 79, top TV shows, top cartoons, government figures, things that were huge in the news, ad campaigns from Coca-Cola, maybe, Have a Coke and a Smile, whatever it was, toys, whatever was huge for 79 will be on those screens while we're playing. Then maybe the next song's 1984, so it'll be all the things that were happening in 1984. So it's a lot of fun for, us old people. Humor me, right?
Yeah.
But we have a good time.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I missed the most recent show that was in the area, but I've seen the band before. It's great, and
he was on the guest list.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hey, you know what? Hey, when you got a birthday party for Uncle Frank, you got to be at Uncle Frank's birthday party. I can't. Otherwise, I hear from my mom, so I don't want to get on her bad side.
No.
But
always be good to mommy.
Yeah, always.
And the next day was Mother's Day.
Yeah, so you see, I had to stay on par. But
that's what I do when I'm not working on those, or I'm not restoring BMX bikes.
Yeah, I think we could probably have like probably a 15-20 minute discussion just on what you and the guys are doing on the bikes, because that's a whole nother.
I'm excited. That this deal isn't done yet, but Speedway, the museum in Lincoln, Nebraska, they might be taking a couple of my bikes for their museum, because they do more than just extremely rare, unbelievable Indy cars and race cars. They have a giant upstairs area of just toys from every possible era. They have an unbelievable lunchbox collection. If you don't know what that is, look it up. They have an unbelievable lunchbox collection, just so cool. So one of the main guys there loves BMX stuff, and so we might throw a couple in there. But anyway,
everything.
What do you guys?
So I don't know. I don't know how you find all the time to do it all, and we definitely appreciate. You lack of sleep. Well, we appreciate that, and again, we appreciate you kind of spending your Friday morning with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course,
I always appreciate it.
Yeah. So thank you.
Cover and your duster.
So good. Thank you, Steve Strope, Pure Vision Design. So if you want to see more of this amazing Chevelle build, you can check it out on our blog and our Instagram. And again, thanks to Steve at Penta Motorsports for putting together an incredible engine and for the hospitality. I think we were driving them crazy moving cars this morning. So thank you to everybody. And that's it. And we'll see you next time at Covering Classic Cars.
See you.